And all of this was on expected lines. Candidates have held rallies, voters have cast their ballots. Behind the scenes, the Pakistani army is pulling the strings. You've probably heard this a million times. The result will be announced later tonight or tomorrow, but we already know the name of the winner, and that is Nawaz Sharif. But how did the military make sure that Sharif wins? How did they rig the vote? A few days ago, a letter began doing the rounds in Pakistan. It was written by a local election officer. This was a letter of complaint. And who was it addressed to? Pakistan's Election Commission. This officer had a concern. The Election Commission uses a software, an election management system. And the system was behaving in an odd way. The officer had specific complaints. Data on the software was being deleted. Some staffers were assigned duties on it. But soon after the records were updated, this data vanished. And when this problem came to light, the officer did what anyone would do: call for IT support. A technical team looked into the problem, and like most IT support teams, they could not solve it. They said it was probably a technical glitch. And the election officer was asked to continue using the software, but the officer was not convinced. The team using the software faced trouble too. So together, they reported their problems. They expressed their reservations. Again, no solution was offered. The tech team asked the election officers to keep using the same faulty software. Finally, this officer decided to write a complaint letter. And we have a copy of the letter. In fact, let me read out a section of the letter to you and listen to this very carefully. This is what it says. This weakness of the system has created many issues and also raises a question mark on the reliability and validity of the tool or software. This shows that either the election management system is an utter failure or, and listen to this, there is someone else that controls and manages the system behind the veil. So someone else is in control, he says. Or that's what he's suggesting. Who could be pulling the strings from behind? This system belongs to a government department, Pakistan's National Database Registration Authority, or NADRA. They're supposed to be an independent and autonomous agency. And what is their job? To maintain the database of all citizens, like population data, demographic files, and most importantly, voter rolls. They maintain all of this. Now, NADRA has an important role to play in this election. It controls all the systems used to administer the election and transmit the results. This agency is like a referee in a football match. Their task is to call out who has hit the goal in the election match. Now, usually this referee is a civilian. But last year, there was a sudden change in their leadership. Instead of a civilian official, a serving general of the Pakistan Army was given charge of NADRA. Which begs the question, why is a serving general in charge of Pakistan's voter rolls? And it's not really rocket science to figure out the answer. The army put their own man in the driver's seat to ensure a favorable outcome. Last month, there was another complaint. It came from a member of the PPP, the Pakistan People's Party, led by the Bhutto Zardaris. Now, they had raised objections to NADRA's systems. One of their lawmakers had written a letter. It said the party has, quote-unquote, serious objections to the systems. Pakistan's Election Commission responded. It played down the risk of manipulation. But at this point, it's really hard to take any assurance at face value. It's like the army is not even bothering to hide how it is rigging the election. So from military coups to silent coups to brazen selection of prime ministers, this is how Pakistan's sham democracy has progressed under the army.